Hi, this is Chris with Cowdog Craftworks, and today we're going to show you how to do make your own lumber.
Really? You're not Chris, you're PJ. It's on your shirt.
Oh.
No, this is Chris from Cowdog Craftworks, and that was PJ with the Evolution of Tables. And today he and I are going to show you how to make dimensional lumber out of a log with a lot of fancy heavy equipment. So stick around and check it out. Alright guys, so first thing to mention is you're probably not going to see a lot of me in this video, which for some of you may actually be a good thing. This is my first time spending most of the video behind the camera instead of in front of it, but both my buddy PJ and I wanted to get a video out to y'all on the processes and advantages of working with a local sawyer. So for those of you who aren't familiar with PJ, he's a high school carpentry teacher that runs a Lucas Mill chainsaw mill out of his backyard shop. We've known each other since we were kids, and he happens to live down the road, so when I have specialty lumber needs, he's always my go-to. And the first step to any milling project is to get the log set up in the mill, so PJ's using his crane to just drop it into place, and the idea here is to get the log mostly perpendicular to the chainsaw. Now this is actually a mahogany log, which is going to be used as a surface to ultimately work on the rosewood slab that I need. However, the slabbing process, no matter what species, is pretty much the same. Cut, dry, mill. The end section on this log is a bit awkward and isn't really usable for most of our common live edge applications, so PJ is just going to lop that off with the chainsaw freehand and get the log into position.
So this here is a 614 Lucas Mill, and those numbers mean that it's got 14 horsepower, and it can cut up to a 6x6 dimensional piece of lumber.
The first pass on pretty much any slabbing project is just a skimming, just to get a flat section for all the future slabs beneath it. Then PJ is going to lower the mill about another 2.5 to 3 inches down, and that's going to get us an actual functional slab. In this case though, it's also getting us that work surface beneath it that we need to work on the rosewood slab. Now, for the record, this mill absolutely eats, and part of that is a testament to PJ's skill as far as sharpening his chain. This mill is actually designed to be broken down and reassembled around logs. So the cool thing about this is it's actually highly portable and is designed to be reassembled in a jungle or in a forest in very compact spaces to be able to slab lumber. Let's do this. Oh yeah. Right up in there. So after slabbing a log, how much time do you need in order for it to be dry and usable for actual lumber?
The rule of thumb that I've seen and heard on the internet is per inch of thickness of your slab, you want to let it sit and air dry for at least a year. So in this case, we did a 2-inch or 2.5-inch slab. We'd want to let it sit in ambient humidity, relative humidity, for just over 2 years. In South Florida, however, we're a little bit more humid than the rest of the country. That rule of thumb doesn't really work down here. So what I've done is set up a kind of a drying kiln, I guess. It's really just a shipping container with a dehumidifier in it, and that gets us down to, in a year, it can get us down to, you know, below 10%, which for me down here, that's pretty acceptable. You know, any lower than that, as soon as you pull the wood out of it, it's going to soak up the ambient moisture anyway. This right here, ladies and gentlemen, is the 8-inch Lucas Mill planer head, and what this device does is essentially it turns your lumber making, slab making planer, I gave it away. Lumber making, slab making machine into a 54-inch wide planer. Take all of that cupping and bowing and twisting right out of the wood and make it nice and flat, which is one reason why I like to cut the slabs a little bit thicker than people generally buy, so that you could have, let's say on a log this size, I don't want to go past, you know, 2 inches or so of final thickness. So we cut it 2.5 now, so that after all the shrinkage and planing, we've got a slab that's just over 2 inches thick.
With the chainsaw leaving saw marks, it's helpful for us to flatten the surface to make sure that the rosewood slab has a perfect surface to register from. If you're feeling this video, please don't forget to hit the like button, comment, and subscribe to support my channel. Also, click that bell below so that you never miss a video, and for my daily content, check me out on Instagram and Facebook at CowDogCraftWorks, and Twitter at CowDogCraftWork, no S. Now, earlier in the day, PJ said he didn't want footage with the Bobcat because he's bumping into stuff all the time, and you can see he totally bumps the mill here. This definitely goes without saying, really, but don't use any of this kind of equipment without proper education and training. To get this flat, he's going to start with some light passes to just work his way slowly into the really quality sections of usable lumber here. Using light passes decreases the likelihood of tear out or mechanical catastrophe, and as you can see, this Indian rosewood reveal is straight gorgeous.
Benefit of being able to envision your project in the slab itself is huge, especially if you're making something that requires a specific grain direction, like a chair, or in this case, a spear gun. You want to be able to select your grain. I mean, in so many words. This piece in particular, it's basically quarter sawn rosewood, so the grain, if we look on the edge, the grain is about 90 degrees, you know, almost perpendicular to the surface. So as you can see, the grain is nice and straight. It's basically quarter sawn material. So it's really good. It's going to remain very stable for what you're going to use it for. We're taking a look at this slab right now, trying to read this grain. And I know Chris wants a pretty straight section of grain, so that this spear gun can go in the water and out of the water about 1,000,000 times and not warp or crack. So I'm looking at this section here. This is a nice, naturally straight section of the tree. If we follow it down, ignoring this piece, we're going to get pretty straight grain. So we're going to go ahead and make a cut, and then measure off of that and make the other cut.
Now, the advantage to having that flat top surface is that we can skip the jointer entirely and use the track saw to create sides that are square to that flat surface. Now, PJ does own a jointer, however, this method is probably the fastest way to get us to where we need to go when making dimensional lumber. Check out those freehand cross-cutting skills. Then we're just going to take this on a trip through the planer. PJ's got the helical head attachment here, so after skip planing the unplaned side, this is going to create a beautifully sheared finished surface. Now, it's a bit cliche to repeat that I'm happy with the project, but PJ always goes the extra mile to make sure I'm supplied with the highest quality specialty material for projects like this. It's pretty impressive to see each piece of machinery in his milling arsenal used to turn a log like this into gorgeous dimensional lumber. This rosewood, as you may have heard, is going to be used in an upcoming spear gun project that's coming to the channel, so stay tuned as I should be getting a ton of work done on that through the holidays. As always, thanks for watching and see you next time here at Cowdog Craftworks.
Hi, I'm PJ with Cowdog Craftworks, and today we're going to show you how to mill some lumber out of a slab of rosewood, beautifully sourced rosewood. Not bad, don't start.
These will make it to the end, like the after. You can also say that you're not with Cowdog Craftworks.
I don't want to run a
Your head's not in it.
We can start over.
No, you're good. Just start doing yours, or let me do this. How long does it take to have a slab dry so that you could make it functional?
Good question. Here in South Florida, we have airplanes flying overhead all the time. Fucking shoot videos at all.